Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So this is a video I probably should have did about a week ago, and I know that I am late getting to the party, but I figure I would put my 2 cents in because a lot of people asked me about it. So we all know by now that Lightsworns are going to be getting tuners shortly, and if you don't know what the cards do, I'll have them listed below. They're also going to get a synchro, but the stats and the effect of that monster is still unknown, so I'm not really going to speak about that on the video. But I guess my question is why? You know, the thing about Lightsworn is even in the 2 formats when it was a tier 1 deck, you know, the Teledad format and then the following format where Teledad died, the Synchro Cat format. You know, the deck was a lot like Black Wings. It didn't synchro out of necessity. It just synchroed when it needed to make a specific play to counter the opponent's play. And it, you know, didn't have like access to Judgment Dragon or something like that. You know, Synchro Cat and Teledad, they needed the synchro or the decks just couldn't win. So I don't really see, after all this time, how randomly giving them synchro options makes the deck that much better. Now, I will say this, with the new Lightsworn tuners coming out, Lightsworn Lumina becomes a far better card, which is actually saying something because she was probably about the 2nd or 3rd best card in the entire archetype to begin with. So, you know, when you combine her with Raiden, you've got the potential for some pretty sick plays there. The first, obviously, being that you can now efficiently and consistently summon Ancient Sacred Wyvern, which is not something that the deck could do in the past, and that is one of those cards that can end games if you already have a big lead on your opponent. You know, its attack basically goes through the roof, especially if you combine it with Honest. I mean, that's just a game closer. But I really like the fact that you now have access to the Arcanite plays. You know, basically Lumina summons Raiden. You can mill a couple of cards off the top of your deck for good measure. You know, maybe you happen to hit a Wolf or hit a Necro Gardener, something like that. Its attack can go up to 2100, so maybe you can run something over because 2100 isn't, you know, that's not anything to laugh at. And then whatever's left on the field, you can just make Arcanite in main phase 2 and potentially blow stuff up. Now, I do like Raiden as a card, you know, although I will say this, if it wasn't a tuner, I mean, wouldn't it be pretty useless? Because Jane is basically the same card but better. I mean, it's 1800 to 2100 attack is guaranteed. You know, it's not a toss up of a mill or something like that where you might not get the attack gain and you might not be able to run over a monster that you really need to. So I think that Lightsworn Raiden is a pretty decent card. I mean, you do have to admit, though, if it wasn't a tuner, it'd be pretty fucking useless. I mean, considering that Jane is basically the same exact card, but better, you know. On the other hand, Lightsworn Minerva, no. You know, I can't really say that about the card. Like, yeah, it searches Judgment Dragon, and that's cool and everything if you already have 8 fucking names in the graveyard. Like, let's be realistic here. If you're playing Lightsworn and you have 8 names in the graveyard and you're still searching for JD, like, you're already dead. You know, and considering that JD is at 3 and cards like Beckoning Light and Monster Reincarnation have already been proven to be successful in the deck, you know, getting to JD has never really been a problem. Not in the last couple of years anyway, so I don't understand why Konami is kind of trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. You know, my problem is, or my question is, why didn't Konami actually make cards that work with the deck's theme mechanic? Think about it like this. Lightsworn is a deck where its own mechanic is usually its biggest downfall. You know, so why not make more cards that help with that? Now, I know some people out there are probably thinking, Yoji, you know, that rewards luck and not skill, and I get that. But that's kind of like being mad at your cat for being an asshole or yelling at your dog for licking its nuts. Like, it's just what they do. You know, Lightsworn mills. So obviously cards that benefit you when they go straight to the graveyard and don't have to be on the field are going to benefit the deck. I think that Wolf was like the greatest thing in the world that they could have ever done for the archetype. You know, Konami was basically like, yeah, okay, we acknowledge that milling is a pretty shitty mechanic. So to make up for you constantly milling your power spells like Heavy Storm and Dark Hole through no fault of your own, that's just how your deck works, here's a big-ass beat stick that summons itself for free when your deck mills. You get a free beater, you can tribute it for Celestia, you can synchro with it. It was like the perfect reward for playing Lightsworn and their very, very shitty mechanic. Now, getting back to the synchro topic, the thing about Lightsworn is the deck already had its perfect tuner. I mean, Glow Up Bulb obviously not being included, of course. I'm talking about Plague Spreader Zombie. you know, Plague opened up most of the synchro plays that the deck already wanted to do, and you didn't even have to draw it. Much like Necro Gardener, it just worked perfectly with the Lightsworn mechanic. So I kind of get what Konami's trying to do here, but it's like, you already have your perfect tuner in place. I mean, and didn't Plague Spreader Zombie just go to 2 on the ban list? So I just kind of feel like we're trying to do a problem that you sort of just fixed. So I think that they should have made Minerva, you know, kind of like a Plague Spreader clone. I mean, maybe it would have summoned itself for free and only usable with Lightsworn monsters, you know, because then it would have been like, all right, we can kind of replace Plague Spreader. We can use it for Solar Recharge. We can tribute it for Celestia. It counts for another name for Judgment Dragon. Like, it would have given the deck so much synergy. It would have opened up synchro plays, and I mean, I don't think it would have been like busted or anything like that. I mean, if you would have like had to control a Lightsworn monster to like special summon it from the graveyard, and then when it leaves the field it like gets banished or something like that, I just think that would have been more productive to the deck if they were going the whole like, you know, we're going to push synchros for Lightsworn route. If that's the route they're going, I felt like maybe they could have done like a better job with these tuners. So let me know what you guys think, because you know, you look at Minerva and it's like, when she goes to the graveyard, she mills a card off the top of the deck. Like, what the fuck is that about? I don't know. Thank you guys for watching, as always. Subscribing makes life happy.